Is that a mature disciple lives for what will last with an eternal perspective. In 1 Thessalonians 1, Paul ends chapter 1 by saying that we are those who wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come. And so a mature disciple is one who is waiting on Jesus' return. Now that waiting doesn't mean that we sit idle in this world, but it means that we live life intentionally. Paul in Ephesians chapter 5, he challenges the church. He says, wake up from your sleep, from your slumber. He says, the days are evil, therefore make the best use of time, knowing the will of the Lord. And so when I know that my life here on this earth is short, when I know that the days are evil, that the people are walking away from God, and that I know that Christ is returning, that causes me to live life differently, with an urgency, with an eternal perspective. So that changes the way that I use my time, that I use my treasure, that I use my talent. With my time, I want to know what the will of the Lord is. It says, again in Ephesians 5, know what the will of the Lord is. And God's will is that all would be saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth. That's what he says in 1 Timothy 2. And so that means, first of all, he wants me to know him. So I want to spend my time knowing him, but I also want to spend my time making him known. It changes the way I view my treasure, my possessions. When I know that I belong to a king, that everything I have isn't mine to own, but it's actually given to me as a steward. And so I seek to use my money, my treasure, my possessions in a way that will impact eternity. And then my talents, the calling, the gifting God has given me. It's not all being leveraged for what I know will pass away, but it's being used for what will impact the kingdom and what will impact eternity. There are many who call themselves Christians. Paul refers to this in Philippians 3. He says they walk as enemies of the cross, with their minds on earthly things, with their belly being their God. And he says, but our citizenship is in heaven, and from it we await a Savior. In other words, a mature disciple is not putting all of their hope and investing all that they have in this world. They don't get really too high or too low based on the circumstances that happen in this world, because they know that their ultimate hope is not in this world, but in what is to come. There's an inheritance, 1 Peter says, that is being kept for us. So a mature disciple is one who lives life with that eternal perspective. The decisions that we make are all with that frame of reference. So I pray that this series, the 7 characteristics of a mature disciple, will spur us all on to Christ likeness.